guys, it's Tuesday 25th of May 2021. I'm going to concentrate on Swiss yen for this video, and this is the same for a lot of the yen pairs at the moment. They're what we call overextended. Okay, so myself personally, on the daily charts and above, I like to use, in fact on a 4-hour and above, I like to use a 20 EMA in blue and the 8 EMA in white. And not only does it give me the trend direction because of the order of the moving averages and the angle of the moving averages and the space between them, but it also suggests to me when price is what's called overextended. Okay, and overextended means that we are in an impulse movement. Okay, we're pulling away from the moving averages in line with the trend, but we could be a little bit too far away from those moving averages, and we'd expect a pullback towards them before potentially the next impulse. Okay, so looking at Swiss yen monthly, okay, we have our averages. We've pulled into the 8 moving average there, and we've had our big month of buying, and this month is also buying. Okay, so we've had couple of months so far of buying action, but it is looking a little bit overextended. It's quite a distance away from this 8 moving average, so I would be expecting price at some point to die out, those buyers to die out, and for price to pull back. Now it might pull back into this zone here where we found resistance. Okay, it could do that, we don't know, and then bounce. That could be something that happens. Or you may be looking for, depending on what type of trader you are, you might be looking for price to come down and test one of the moving averages. If we look on the weekly, okay, we can see the impulse movement here. We can see that on the weekly it's been prone to come back into the 8 moving average, and then we've seen buyers come in again, but occasionally it can have a pullback into the 20. So I'd be looking for at least price to pull back into that weekly 8 moving average, but there's a chance that it could pull back a little bit further. Okay, so I'm going to leave that line in there. So because this is looking overextended, it means that we'd be looking for sales. Wouldn't really be looking for buys at this point because it's overextended. So if we're looking for sales, that means a counter trend trade. What could we look for? Okay, so I've gone down to the 1 hour. Let me just show you something here which happened previously, not too long ago. We have our trend line, as you can see. When was this? This wasn't too far ago, 17th of May. So we have our trend. I won't use that. We have our trend. We broke the trend line. Okay, we actually closed below it. Now this could have either been a false break and we move back up to the upside, or we actually continue that movement down. So we actually broke there. If you go down to the 15-minute time frame, smaller time frame, just to see exactly what's going on, we actually see this little consolidation. It's actually a correction in the market. It's called a triangular correction. You see a lot of triangles in yen pairs. So we have our triangle correction, and then we close outside of the triangle, and then we see another close. So a close and then a lower close, and that was a sign that we are now continuing to the downside. In that case, a possible trade might have been a sell stop below that candle there, stop above the triangle, anticipating that big move. Now in fact it only came into about 1% before it started to reverse, but at that point you could have put your stop to break even. You might have even banked some money. You wouldn't have lost any money on this trade. Eventually, if you'd have left your stop loss where it was, it would have taken you out, but you wouldn't do that because you do what's called trade manage. So we're basically looking for another opportunity like that, where we see price or sellers come into the market. So we have our 1 hour trend line there. Do we have one now? And the answer is yes, we do. We have an hourly trend line there. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for something similar to this, but we're going to look for price to come down. We want price to have an hourly close below the trend line, And then ideally we're looking for some form of correction or consolidation, and then sellers to come in, okay, to get involved. Now we might get something like this, which is called a flag pattern. We don't know. We don't know what the correction is going to look like, but we're going to look for price to have an hourly close below the trend line, look for a correction or consolidation, look for sellers to come in and get into the sell. And one of these sells potentially is the one that pulls back into the weekly 8 moving averages. Okay, so really quick lesson on you know, what we can look for on some of these pairs. Well, this in particular, the Swiss yen, but there's a lot of yen pairs like this which are overextended. But you know, in general, if you see a currency pair or an asset, whatever you are trading, overextended from those moving averages, okay, then you know what to do. You need to start looking for a change of cycle on that smaller time frame, and then you know how to get involved. So I hope that helps you today. We'll keep our eyes open for Swiss yen. Keep your eyes open for a close below this hourly trend line, because it could be the one that that actually goes and pulls back into those bigger term moving averages. All right, guys, catch you later. Bye.